All right, Shalom. Giving all praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shai by Hashem Rakah Kadash. Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shai, double honors to the apostles, elders, of great millstone. My salutation to the brothers, each word for the hopeful elect, soon to be the elect most high will. Shalom. Blessings. You know, we got to make sense of this, man. Is it make sense that C-hip is the M.O.T.B or Christianity, religion, whatever, or or sin? You know, right here it says the mark of the beast is deeper than the chip. So who's the only one that teaches that's the C-hip, basically GMS, maybe a couple more camps, whatever. But they really talking about GMS. I don't know who put this up. And first of all, somebody calling himself, calling Yahweh Yahuwah, which is not his real name. It says the mark of the beast equals obedience to man's law, false religion, and rebellion. Now, you have to even be specific with that because there are some things in man's law that go according to the Bible. There are a lot of these religions got some moral codes of following that over there, and like I looked up Iran, they put sodomites to death. Most High is not going to be mad at that. You can't be partial with the Bible. So what it says, true religion is a man that visits the widows, and I forgot the other. I'll most I will. I'll look it up. And rebellion, false religion, and rebellion. First of all, obedience to man's law, and then they put that C-hip might be a tool. See, they want to keep that out there, just in case it is. But the real danger is, what did it say? Worshipping the beast, trusting Babylon, and rejecting the truth. Well, if they set up a system that you have to have a mandatory C-hip, that's trusting in Babylon. Because let's say with even housing and all that, you want to live in a better place in Babylon, and it's America. They don't care what you are. They don't care if you're a Christian. They don't care if you're a Muslim. You know, there's a lot of Muslims that live in America. Because the one it says the mark of the beast, and it says this is a number of a man. So it's not no entity, no, and we know the beast is not a mythical beast or a mythical creature. It's actually, so what is the beast? And we know it to be NATO and EU, and they probably say, well, yeah, that's right. See, they'll cherry pick with that. But if you got the beast and you got a beast system, and you know they say, well, you got to worship the beast. Just like an ID, you know, they say, well, you know, the police have been a monitor and a fashion of martial law and power for America, especially when it comes to the Negro, Latino, and Native Americans. So let's say the cops say, well, you know, you have to have ID, sir, to to drive, well, driver's license to drive the car. You have to have, uh, you know, a license to own this house or whatever. You have to fill out paperwork. You know, if you do all those things, even us doing it today, that's not worshiping the beast, man. Trusting Babylon. So us waiting on a check for my job doesn't mean we're trusting in Babylon. We got to eat in this place, man. Um, so this is partiality. Most High don't like partiality, man. So, the, one another way to understand this is too. It even says, "Be at peace with all men possible." It even talks about prophets, certain prophets that lied just to escape death. So if they say, well, yeah, what do you claim? Like Paul, he said he's a Roman. Most High wasn't looking down at Paul for that. You know, Paul was one of the top men. So is that mean that you're worshiping or trusting Babylon because you say, well, yeah, I'm an American, I have a right. And a lot of, and I told, and I looked up, even with Christianity, I said, is Christianity likely to be mandatory in near future in America? No, it is not likely that Christianity will be mandatory in the near future in America, as the country has a constitutional separation of church and state, and Christian affiliation is projected to decline, not increase. See, they act like Christianity is the big thing in America, the big network. It's declining, man, and you can see that when they're leaving the churches. So Christianity is diving, and that's goes along with religion. Christianity, American Christianity is a false religion, but it's true Christianity out there. A lot of the Americas where they get their Christianity, even though they flip it, it's basically a lot of stuff that America hasn't told, and they didn't never really try to break down things down in the church. They just tried to. They didn't just teach you the truth. But if you read the book and you say, well, yeah, I'm a Christian, and I read the book, yeah, we are Christians. So that means that you're gonna get a pass. Now, if they say, well, you got to have a Christian ID, well, you might as well put that in the category with the C hip. Because if they going to do all that, man, they just going to go ahead and just put it on the C hip. F all this playing around, man. They doing that now. They going to digital currency now. Even when people Jake get arrested, you get an ankle monitor and shit. You don't have a card, a ID card in your pocket that says you're on house arrest. You actually got a digital ass monitor, man. And these are tracking devices also. And you know that's backfiring too because when people use a card, the card is declining all the time. The computers are messing up. So the people that stood in line, that was holding up the line to use the cash, that was all a prop anyway. The people that got cards are standing, they're holding up the line more than the people that got cash. And that's supposed to be a easier transaction. Like you can swipe your card and go. Well, that ain't the case, man. It says while some groups advocate for closer ties between religion and government, the overall trend shows a decrease in Christian population, with unaffiliated people potentially becoming the largest group, man. And you could test it yourself. Nobody's really religious. I mean, they got something they call coexist, man. That you could be an atheist, you could be a Scientology, you could be a Mormon, and you could be on the same team. And I get it. Most High said, "Don't worship other gods." I get that. But what this so-called God is doing with the power as a God, he's implementing digital currency, digital fashions into this world. So then you might say that's why they say see it might be a tool. It's going to be the very tool, man. Because through that they could track you, keep up with you, and you can't. What is it? You can't buy or sell without it. What does false religion and obedience to the man's law got to do with anything about buying and selling? Because if the cop telling me to quit crossing the street, I didn't buy anything. I didn't sell anything. I wasn't forced to do it. And then you got sin when it says Yahweh Shai said no man is good, not one but only the Father in heaven. Paul even said, "It's sin that dwelleth in me. It's no longer me, it's sin that dwelleth in me." And we got sin in our body. If you got, you know, let's say that M.O.T.B come, and we know it's here, and they're gonna find out what it is. And they say, well, America say, well, and from now on, you have to have this mark. Well, and they you if you gonna be like, well, you like what do you call it? If you with your woman, you gonna say, Lord, I didn't sin. I didn't take the M.O.T.B. I didn't you know I didn't follow. I wasn't obedient to man's law. I wasn't in no false religion. And I was rebellious toward the system. But then you sleeping with your woman and shit, and she's on a cycle. You in sin. You gonna get your head chopped off. And other many things according to the law, you can get your head chopped off if that was the case. Um, so I'll read that. Revelation 13:16 through 17. He calls all to receive a mark in their forehead and hand in their right hand, and they think that's talking about uh, right hand of your like your knowledge, like living on the right side of the Most High. Most High said we're not even good. Only Yahweh Shai is on the right hand side of the Most High, not us. What are you talking about, man? It says our righteousness is filthy rags. What the hell are you talking about, man? And it says in their foreheads. So they're talking about what they have is spiritual, what they know in their minds. It says their beliefs. Your actions is your. You see how they breaking this down? These people don't know nothing. And these people never broke down until the apostles came out. They never was concerned about the M.O.T.B. You devils. You devil. That's a damn hypocrite. And these devils, like now they all of a sudden want to break stuff down, man. But they was living in their houses eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches and shit with their feet kicked up, taking money from the churches. Fucking devils. And even the people that claim Yahuwah or whatever, they do the same thing, man. They nothing but a off Christian bearing religion. So now, okay, your beliefs. So you believe, we believe that, hey, I'm an American citizen. I'm not a son of America Vespucci, but I'm an American citizen. Paul was a Roman. I believe that a man should be justified by his faith, and then America's gonna be looking at it like, yeah, that's what we teach. That's what we tell people. America's still trying to have some you know, moral codes still, even on their way out, even on their downfall. They still come out with moral codes. You know, um, so uh, there. Paul said he was a Roman, but Romans they was practicing sodomy. That don't mean Paul was a sodomite. They practiced uh, ill things that was against Most High's commandments. But he said he was a Roman. So that does that mean he was going off? Anyway, and many men can have many beliefs, man. You can make up a belief in your head. Like, I just believe that, all men should get along. You could lie to these devils, man. Yeah, like the scriptures say, be at peace with all men possible. Well, do you believe? I believe that we heard you were racist, and we heard, well, I still believe that all men, to be at peace with all men possible. Just like vocab says that it's so-called, it is Edomites in the camp and all that, you know, and GMS camps, which he's a moron. He's a oxymoron too, and a hypocrite, because you're still calling us black and racist, but if we got Edomites in the camp, then you can't call us racist, you dumbass. But anyway, uh, so the so it says so beliefs, and it's in their forehead, but it says so that no man buy or sell unless he that have these beliefs, these you know these false religions, these uh, disobedient to man's law. But we buy and sell all day today, and we don't got the. So is that the M.O.T.B already? They don't even know if when it would come, or if it came. They be like, "What is it here or what? What?" They don't even know what it is. They can't pinpoint it. You're supposed to be able to pinpoint the M.O.T.B, man. Obedience to man's law and false religion and rebellion. That's not it. It's going to be rebellion from these other nations too. It's going to be uh, um, false religion mixed with uh, people really people that people want. A lot of these people that are into false religion, that's regular people, they ain't gonna take the M.O.T.B. Because if it, let's say they do believe it's the C-hip, they do believe it's a digital C, well, they could be counted as righteousness for that because they're doing something righteous. You can have a Jake in a Mormon religion. He's like, no, I heard that was the MOT. I heard that was the M.O.T.B. I'm not going to take it. And Most High call him up into the and to be delivered, even if they didn't think it was the M.O.T.B. That was a righteous, uh, committed act right there, or a righteous act right there. It said even some of the prophets, should be counted for righteousness. Let me see. So these devil, if they don't even know uh, who the Most High is gonna choose to escape this, but they talk like as if they're not gonna be a part of it. Shall be counted as righteousness, King James version. So Romans 4:3 it says, "For what saith the Scripture? Abraham believed the Most High, and it was counted unto him for righteousness." For if Abraham was justified by works, that's the scripture before. If he was justified by works, he had wherefore to glory, but not before the Most High. For what said the scripture? Abraham believed in the Most High. So, um, so there's nothing you could do of works uh, to be glorified before the Most High. You know. So, you know, um, if you in a false religion, you can get out of that religion like soon as you hear the truth. You know. But that C hip, you can't take it out of your body. You make that mistake. That's why me personally as a man, I think the Most High is trying to make people well understand. And once you do this, you can't turn back. But you could be forgiven for being in a false religion or obedient to man's law. You could be forgiven for that. Cause you be like, damn, like people with they was. What is man's laws, man? Give me some list of man's laws, man. Cause this people got to follow man's law right now. We, as the children of the Most High, got to follow man's law right now. If the cops say, "Hey, you can't go that way, or you can't be in this district, or we're gonna have to go to another district." It even says, "Agree with thine adversary, man." So they don't even pinpoint when it'll cut off of agreeing with your adversary. When do we not agree? Because right here they're saying to follow man's law. That's the M.O.T.B. Well, it says follow. You know, we have a adversary. He has the laws that we got to follow. Um, I'm trying to think of another thing. I'll probably make another video. I'll chop it up with the brothers and see what they come up with. But um, what makes more sense, man? And then with sin, they act like it's gonna be, you know, the elites are gonna be knocking on everybody's door and talking about, are you in sin? If so, you good. You good. As long as you know, commit adultery and idolatry and all that. Cause like, what's that Yahweh Shai tell that woman? They try to catch her. They said they caught her in the very act, and then when they accused us, he said he looked up. He said, "Where's thine accusers?" She said, "I see none that accuse me," because he said, "He that not sinned, let him cast the first stone." And they were gone. She said, "Well," he said, "Well, neither do I accuse you, but sin no more." So she was became she was had a clean slate right there. Like, yeah, just don't sin no more. And that's a physical thing. And they said, well, this all this is physical stuff. Because when Satan tempted Yahweh Shai, they physically took him on a mountain. They physically, they, they psychologically came against him, but they used physical, a real physical examples, expressions like, "Hey, turn this bread, stones to bread. Thou be the Son of God." They wanted him to do something in the and physically. When the Maccabee sons, they wanted them to eat swine. They wanted them to do something physically, or they'll be thrown in cut up in pieces, whatever. And they were. Daniel in the lion's den, you know, they brought a law against him to against that, he would sin against his God according to to their laws. And they said, well, he definitely, if he break the law, he's gonna be thrown into the furnace. Well, it's gonna be a law and a mandatory. How about that? The M.O.T.B, the C hip being a law that you got to take it, or a law to just be thrown out there, like the your ID, that didn't become a law to where it's they had to vote on and all that. You just be caught with your ID, or I mean your driver's license while driving, because that's what it is, a license to drive. Then your ass is going to jail, you know, or you get caught with your alcohol level at a certain over a certain point, you're going to jail. that's not that's not a law that's printed and documented as a banner and all that. That's just some small ass common sense laws. Like, yeah, well, you know, but it is a part of the B system because we all know it's prop that they're gonna track us and they want to control and all that. But control is a key factor. You know, control is a key factor, and they trying to control people with this tracking device, with this CHIP, with Neuralink methods. I don't even think the Most High would have brought uh, Elon Musk out on the scene if that wasn't the case. Nobody even knew about him, and then he popped up out of nowhere in these times, in these last days, chilling with the president and everything. On top, Bill Gates on top of the game. Just a Microsoft, you know, CEO Microsoft, whatever, Microsoft CEO, just out of nowhere pop up. Like, yeah, rappers have mentioned him, but a lot of people, common people, regular people, didn't even know about him or Elon Musk. Celebrities did, but they didn't know, and they probably heard the name, but they didn't know what they were really about. The scientists and technicians and the what's that other one? Engineers that came over here, they didn't come over here to exercise the power of you know making sure people obey the law. They came over to exercise these devices in their labs. And we talk about draconian laws, of course, but what's going to keep the man in line to follow these laws? Because I say, like, a lot of times the law is blurry. It even says the reason why the Christianity is not only depleting, not only spiraling down the drain, but it's too many. It's it's too much. To deal with. Basically, these religious people are too much to deal with. They don't want that. They want to just encourage people that, look, you'll be safer with this. Look, we can heal you with this device. We're able to, you know, you're able to think better with this device, move better, be more comfortable here. You know, says when they say sudden peace and safety, sudden destruction come up on them. They act like this is they. Of course, they're gonna come with draconian laws, but they're gonna butter that up too. Like you have Edomites telling you, hey, you going through all this, you going through a little something, your water's not working or your ceiling's caving in. Well, just be glad you're not living in a third world country. Cause you supposed to, they gonna make Jake think like you supposed to be happy with how America's going, and we're making it great again. We got new parks, we got entertainment, you got celebrities as entrepreneurs and promoting America. You got people, Trump voters that you might see a different side of them. Like, yeah, I'm a Trump voter, but I'm a peaceful man. I'm for everybody, but I'm a Trump voter. I'm a Trump supporter. And then people are confused and don't know what to do and what to believe in. So really, people don't even got beliefs. They just confused. But hey, they know how to put that into a perspective with a device to say to make you not. Yeah, you know what this is. You know what this does. You know what this is for. Anyway, I'll make some more points, and do another video very soon, near future. Most I will. I hope it was edifying. To the next video. Shalom.